recording has begun, and it's ready to go here. Let's see. I don't need to log in anything, do I? Nope, I don't. All right, here we go, everyone. Sit back, relax, enjoy. This is the show in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear?
And so much more.
Do the bees know they make honey for you? This is the morning stream.
And so much more.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is Tuesday, June 18th. I can't read. Maybe my eyes aren't as good as I thought. June 18th, 2024. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Real quick, I want you to hear today's little intro thing again, but I want you to hear it as if you're watching. I want you to hear it as if you're watching George Costanza. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So listen to this.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we...
It sounds just like him to me.
It does. Oh, I thought it was Jason Alexander when you played that.
Nope.
But obviously the audio quality is not 90s level Costanza. What is a lot of people saying, I thought that was him.
No, some old noir movie thing I captured a little bit of audio from. I don't even remember what it was from, but it's something from the 40s. I don't know who that guy is.
That's crazy. Wow.
Isn't that crazy though?
It's okay, now imagine it's Alan Ruck doing the Sausage King of Chicago on the phone in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
All right, let's hear it.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's great. That's like I follow this TikTok account where a guy takes popular songs and then ruins them by putting a face up.
Oh, yeah. What was the one that he showed Nicolas Cage before? Now I can't hear anything but Nicolas Cage singing.
Yeah, what was that? I sent it. Did I send that to you?
You did. Yeah, I think I should be able to scroll back and see it.
Where is it? I know I did, didn't I?
There's Craig Federici. There's the transporter in his swimming outfit.
I can't find it.
I can't find it either. Yeah, but you
I know I shared this at some point, but yeah, this guy's great because every day there's at least something up there, and then as soon as he puts his face up, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And that's all I'm going to hear from now on. He's literally ruining songs for us. Anyway, was that from It's a Wonderful Life? It might have been. That's audio.
What people are saying. Yep.
Okay.
Nick from It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't remember. All right. Got a lot to do today. This is our, the last day before Juneteenth, which we are celebrating and going to be gone for tomorrow. So there be no confusion. There is no show tomorrow.
I'm going to ride along Highway 36. Those of you who are familiar with Denver or Boulder, or specifically the highway that goes from Denver to Boulder, as hilly as it is, good Lord, I'm going to be doing that ride tomorrow. And if I'm feeling... I'm going to stop at the very top of the peak that overlooks Boulder Valley. But if I'm feeling froggy, I might descend into Boulder Valley and then make make that hill back up to the peak, which that is I think 4 mile. I would say it has to be at least a 30% grade.
Jeez,
hill.
4 miles straight. Yeah. No dipping, just straight.
No dipping, just straight.
Oh. That
30 degree hill for 4 miles, and I don't know if I could do that.
That makes my groin
But I'm at least
hurt.
going to stop at the top and take some pictures and say, I made it up here, everybody.
Don't forget your crotch, buddy.
Oh, believe me, I had to buy a new tube of Deez Nuts Pro. That's the brand, Deez Nuts Pro.
Nice.
I want to call it Deez Nuts Pro, but there's no EE. It's just Deez Nuts Pro.
I'm sure they're riffing on that.
It's implied. The E's are implied.
Yeah. Everybody knows what those guys are up to with their squeaky crotch grease.
That's right.
Imagine
Dragons Deez Nuts Pro.
There you go. Yep. Sounds awesome.
Be a sponsor.
Sounds like a brand new subscription per month I got to pay.
It sounds like something now that you can get on Fremont Street in Vegas.
That's right. Well, Brian,
Imagine Dragons Deez Nuts. Yeah.
Since you're usually out testing your physicality on your bike, let's test you mentally. Okay.
Ooh, well, okay.
Let's test you mentally and auditorially, because once in a while I like to do these things where it's a sound based. I guess you'd call this a quiz.
I love these. Okay, good.
And speaking of things we sign up for and pay for monthly, this is a chance for you to test your might.
Test your might.
All right. And you're going to. Do you remember this?
This is from the game Mr. Do. No, I'm just kidding.
It reminds me, though, these fighting games used to always have these weird mini games. So that test your might thing comes from Mortal Kombat 1, where after a few levels, it would be them busting wood or something.
Yeah. You'd be breaking down a shed or something. What was it? Definitely wasn't a shed in Mortal Kombat.
In Mortal Kombat, I think it was just
a
wood.
car.
But that was
in Street Fighter
was a car. Yeah. So you'd kick the shit out of like a Mercedes or something.
Right. Yes.
Such a weird thing. Like,
it is a weird thing. Yeah. No kidding.
You know, you're sitting around going, "Hey, what do we have players do when they're not fighting? How about we have them beat the shit out of a car?"
Could you bring a little pencil and kind of hack it like you did with track and field, where you
probably. You probably could. Yeah, the best part about that is it created its own little weird kid economy, because kids in wood shop would make a couple of bucks each on making these little wood things and then sell them.
Basically, it's a tongue depressor for track and field, basically, is what it was.
Yeah, and it had a cool curve on it, and the nice ones, you'd spend $5 on those.
Field yet for retro?
No, but we need to.
Yeah, it'd be a great topic in talking about those. I bet you could 3D print ones now.
Oh,
if you
easy.
If you could find an arcade with a track and field game in it.
Well, that's the trick, right? And a lot of those, they ended up, I don't know if you remember this, but they started shipping cabinets later in the life cycle of that thing, and it had a ridge between the two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you couldn't put something on top of it. It would be too high. And they were trying to stop people from just beating the game. And, it means less quarters, so that's why they did it. But I don't know. It's always a stark reminder that the arcade, as much nostalgia as we have for arcades, it was just there to get our quarters. Like, they weren't really there to have. The smart ones had fun and pay for it. But a lot of them were just like, NBA Jam was just like, yeah, you were winning, but now the computer's way better for some reason, and you're rimming everything you take. So sorry, more quarters, I guess. Like, some games were terrible at that stuff. I hated that growing up.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, here, Brian, is your test your might for today.
Okay. Yep.
You have to tell me. I'm going to play some audio each time, and you're going to have to tell me which streaming service does this logo sound belong to.
Oh wow. Okay. Ooh.
All right.
This is fun because. Yeah, when you don't see it, they all sound like an old phone waking up. Basically.
A little bit, or an old computer, or an old, something.
Yeah.
So they're all. I think some of these are going to be obvious, and when we get to them, you'll know them.
Sure.
But some of these may be trickier. All right. So let's start with this one. See if you know what this is. Okay. This one maybe is a little tricky. Here we go. Okay. Any ideas?
Oh, that is. I don't recognize it right off the top of my head, so it might not be a service that I use a lot. Maybe it is, though. Is that Tubi?
That is it Tubi? Let's find out. Incorrect. It is YouTube Originals. Originals. Right. So a little tricky, not a thing you're going to think of. Those. Yeah, I don't either. Not really a fan.
Was Cobra Kai? I guess Cobra Kai was a YouTube original originally.
For a hot minute.
Or no,
yeah.
It was for the first season.
Then it went to Netflix after that.
Yeah.
All right, how about this one? This one's easy.
That's your Netflix.
Yeah.
They even name their newsletter and their annual shareholders meeting is da-dum.
Yep, they're into it. Okay, this one gets a little trickier. Here you go.
Is that Amazon Prime?
You are. Let's see if you're correct or not. Hold on. My buzzers are in the wrong place. That is correct.
Okay, good.
Nicely
done.
Been
watching The Boys, so I get that one.
That one helps. All right, how about this one?
That one helps. That is Disney Plus.
Nicely done.
Okay.
You're killing this so far. You know what this proves? Brian is a avid user of services. He's really into them. All right.
I am an avid user of services, yeah. But basically what I do is I think of what TV theme song usually comes after that.
Yeah, no, fair point. That's what I would do. My brain wants to go like if you hear the HBO thing.
Yeah, right.
I immediately think of Game of Thrones, or I think of
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb's a good one. Yep.
I hear the tuba right after that.
Yep. Burp, burp, burp. Yep, exactly. Yep. All right, here's one for you.
I think that's Max, speaking of which.
Let's find out if it is. Correct, it is. Nicely done.
All right.
Kind of killing it so far.
Good.
All right, how about this one?
After
yesterday? No, you won yesterday.
After yesterday. I did, yeah.
Dirty bastard.
Jean Grey.
Here we go. Yeah, Jean Grey. Whatever. She has too many names. That woman.
She does have too many names. Although if you would have said Phoenix, I would have allowed it because the Phoenix Force was technically different than it was more than just Jean Grey. So I would have allowed it.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Here's this one.
Oh God, the one that starts with the audience. Is that Hulu?
You are correct.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Well done. How about this one?
That's HBO.
Let's find out if it's HBO. Paramount Plus, sir.
Paramount Plus. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We already did Prime Chat. That was earlier.
Yeah.
Here's this one.
Peacock.
Oh my gosh. You are free cock or peacock, I would have allowed.
Yep.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Here's this one. I think is that birds at the end of that one? Hold on. Is it like a little peacock
like
sound?
wings flapping? Oh, maybe. Because, then the...
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
It's funny that they don't use the bong, 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 which was, associated with NBC forever, and Peacock is a
they should do like a variation on that. I agree.
Yeah.
Stick it to the nostalgia there.
Yeah.
All right, here's one for you.
Oh, shit. Is that HBO?
That is
Damn
Apple.
it.
That is Apple TV Plus.
Oh, good Lord! I definitely should have gotten that one. Damn it!
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
I like that bass, man. It's right where I want it.
Oh my God! Is it? Oh, is Dark Matter finale out today?
Is it? God, I gotta watch. I want to binge that shit. I'm excited.
Spoiler alert! It's gonna be more mental next week. unless they really f things up for the finale.
Yeah.
My gosh, I'm so excited.
And by the way, chat keeps asking this. I'm going to tell you that it's not Tubi is not in here because Tubi literally sings the word Tubi, so it's not in there.
Well, I was saying Freevee does as well. Freevee.
Yeah, and Tubi goes Tubi like that.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, it's super good. I really like it, but it's obvious, so I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
All right, here's one for you.
Okay.
This one's tricky.
Ooh, that is tricky.
It's also kind of secondary, so it's not a cheat, but it's...
Yeah, no, but it's going to be like... so I know it's not FX. I know the FX one by heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, is that AMC Plus?
Let's find out. Is it AMC Plus? Oh, you're close. It has a plus in it. It's Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus, okay.
Which I do not have, and probably you might not either. I don't know. A lot of Discovery shit is on Max now.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's right. I was gonna say I think I get it as part of a bundle, and I can't remember if it's part of the Disney, ABC, ESPN bundle. But no, you're right. It's part of the Max bundle.
Yeah, I think Max just has a bunch of their content, and then they also have their own channel. So,
right.
Here is one final one. All right.
Okay.
This one is again a little obscure. I knew it, but I don't know. I feel like I might not have if I just had it played in my ear. So anyway, here we go. Whoops.
Ooh. Is that the CW?
Let's find out. Is it the CW? Sony. And here's the thing. They have a service called Sony LIV Originals. I assume that's live. There's no E in there, so it's live.
Right. It's all movies starring Liv Tyler. It's your Lord of the Rings trilogy and your
you get a leftovers
Empire
for a series.
Records and yeah.
Oh, I would love that. Just
and
one
a bunch
channel.
of Aerosmith videos.
One channel, nothing but Liv Tyler. That's amazing. Well, you did pretty well. I think you got, let's see, you got...
I feel like I got more than half.
1, 2, I meant to keep track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you get Paramount? No, you missed that one.
I missed Paramount. I missed Sony. I missed Paramount. I missed...
Did you get Peacock?
Yes, I got Peacock.
Okay.
I missed Discovery.
7, you missed Apple.
Apple. Yeah, that one. I feel.
You got more than half. I think that's a quality run, dude.
That's a what's the word I'm looking for? Not reputable. That's a
respectable.
Respectable is the word I was looking for. I knew it was an able.
It's an able. Always with the ables.
Ables.
That's right.
That's right.
Here's a quick text from a listener who thinks they may have found your lady.
No, they have a recommendation
method
for a solution.
Yeah,
Yes.
a method to find your lady. Those who are wondering what I'm talking about, Brian's got this actress in his dream, and we can't figure out who she is. So this is the ongoing saga here.
Here's what makes me even more convinced that she's real. The dream was a month ago, however, maybe even 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I still visualize this lady in the role that she was in a sitcom. So I think dream stuff tends to fade after a while, especially if you just have it experience it that once. But
oh yeah, last night I had some crazy dreams. I couldn't tell you what they were now.
Oh, my dream was that at 2:47 a.m., 2:47 a.m., the cat threw up on the duvet. Oh, wait, that wasn't a dream. That was real. And I both had a hard time getting back to sleep after that. Thanks, Salem.
Sometimes dreams come true,
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Not a good dream, but a dream nonetheless. Yeah. All right, here's what Jean from Brooklyn says.
Yeah.
Scott and Brian, about Brian's mystery actress. I like that.
Yeah.
I call her Carbonated Meat. That's her name.
Yeah. Cara Bonated Meat.
Yeah, Cara B Meat.
Cara B Meat.
Yeah, Cara B Meat.
Perfect. Yes.
She says, or he says, I don't know if Jean's a she, he or she.
Jean's a he. Yeah, Jean is the guy who came out here, and we went to New Terrain Brewing and had a lovely evening.
Nice. That sounds all right to me.
Yeah.
Did you ever think? Oh, guess. Who's come? Someone's coming to Park City. I get to see them, and now I forgot who's coming.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Shit. Now I feel bad. I got to say who it is. I got 3 or 4 people. All of them are saying, "Hey, I'm out there in July," and I get confused about who's coming when. It is. Vincent Minucci. That's who's coming.
Oh, nice. Lucky you.
Yeah,
Very
he's great.
cool.
He's a great dude. We're gonna try to get out there.
Dude. Yeah.
Anyway, it says about your mystery actress. Did you ever think about hiring a professional criminal sketch artist and seeing what he comes up with? You may now return to your regular scheduled program, says Gene in Brooklyn. I mean, I don't even know where you'd hire somebody like that.
I know exactly. Do you just call someone up? There's got to be. I actually would be surprised if there's not an. You technically can do this with AI, right? And just say, describe, long, straight, dark hair.
Yeah.
Heavy eye makeup, full lips, smaller nose, actress, and then have them come up with it, and then just adjust your prompts and do that sort of thing.
Yeah. You probably even get like a guy like Matthew Sargent's style. Probably is pretty good at you describing something and having him draw it or whatever.
Probably, yeah. Oh wow, there's a few new names added to the list here. Well, I can already tell you it's not. Julia Ormond. What happened to Julia Ormond? She just disappeared after Sabrina, didn't she?
I don't know what happened to her.
I don't know. She was great. Definitely not Julia Ormond or
Ormond, or however you say it.
She was in that Sean Connery First Night with Richard Gere, Sean Connery, the Camelot love triangle thing. Paige Turco. Let's see, Paige Turco. Not Paige Turco.
She's still working. This Julia Ormond. She's most recently in Walking Dead: World Beyond. She's in a couple of primetime things. Let's see, some unreleased films that are in post production. She's doing all right.
Yeah, not Jessica Hecht. I see her in everything lately. She was Ross's ex-wife's new girlfriend on Friends. But she was in something as somebody's mom recently. I think we just finished up, and I probably recommended Jessica Hecht. Let's see what she just did.
Hecht.
Oh, Tokyo Vice. Yeah, she was.
Oh, Tokyo Vice is so
Ansel
good.
Elgort's mom in Tokyo Vice.
That show is great. That show is real good.
It is great. It is absolutely great.
I need to. I got to keep going though because I'm behind on it. But I really like that show.
New season's great. Holy cow.
Well, anyway.
Kitty Trout says, I can't remember. Is First Night the worst movie ever? I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst movie. I remember liking it, but I wouldn't call it the worst movie, or I wouldn't even call it the best movie.
How would you even? I don't even know how you say what the worst movie is. It's an impossible thing to say anymore. There's too many.
Isn't it The Room? Can we all agree it's The Room?
I mean, The Room's pretty high up there, but it's also watchable with your friends, and you can have a good time with it. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse, or if that if that solidifies its position as the worst. I don't know.
So it can't. So even having a bunch of friends that watch it with you won't make basically you can't even help the worst movie. So Super Troopers, for example, or Super Trooper.
We could sit and watch that and have a good time, but we can't. Nobody can say that's a good movie, right? Yeah, there's just so many that are bad, and it's so personally interpreted that I don't know how you do it. Yeah. What is the worst film ever made? Who knows?
That's such a tough list to make.
Yeah.
Coming up on Brian's bonus sack in August. What is the worst movie ever?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We might even have the answer to that in the tone that you're seeking, Brian. It might be.
I've moved Catwoman.
It might be Catwoman.
Catwoman's up there, yeah.
I hated that movie.
Maybe I will do that for my bonus sack. I'll do. I'll watch Gigli. I'll watch Ishtar. I'll watch these movies that are frequently on lists for being the worst films ever, and I'll finally announce a winner. As to what the
let's make it definitive that Brian will finally solve this question.
But it's other than The Room, like it has to be a movie that has a high enough profile, had high profile expectations. Bonfire of the Vanities, another great example, right? You had all these A-list actors in it, and it's based on a beloved book. But the movie was just crap. So it can't be like this unknown. What was that? Not Jean-Claude Van Damme, but the Swedish dude that was in.
Swedish dude?
Retrograde.
Oh, Retrograde. He-Man. What's his name? Dolph Lundgren. Jeez.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
So that has to be that exactly. Part of being worse is how disappointing it is. No one expected Madam Web to be good, but everyone expected Bonfire of the Vanities to be good.
Yeah. Also, I could go outside with my phone and film a dog turd for 2 hours, just film a dog turd, and then I could say, "Oh, look, you guys, it's the worst movie ever made." I don't think that should count because it has to be like there have to be certain rules, like. You had a production team and you had money to do it, and I don't know what the definition is, but you have to maybe that is actually kind of a fun one-off.
I think it'd be a fun one, and these are all movies that I've avoided because they're known as being the worst, and I don't ever see us watching Ishtar or Bonfire of the Vanities for film sack. So this will be good. People start jump into the Discord under the film sack thing and recommend movies to me that are notoriously bad from high expectations, and I'm going to pick 4 of the worst and watch those for my bonus sack.
Nice. Real quick, there's a list of the top 100 worst movies of all time according to Rotten Tomatoes, and it's all based on scores. Oh, now, these are all zeros, but some are more zero than others, I guess.
And are they high profile, though, right? Like high
profile movies that are definitely, well, some of them. Like, for example, the number one worst movie, according to them, is Ballistic X versus Sever.
X versus Sever, really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's a great example. Although that one I feel like we would watch for film sack.
We need to at some point. 2002. It's got Antonio Banderas, Lucy Liu, all those people. Ray Park.
Yeah.
A recent. Let's see. I don't know how recent that is. Left Behind is third place. That's your
Kirk Cameron deal, right?
This is the Nicolas Cage one.
Was he not involved on that one? Oh, the Nicolas Cage one. That's right.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really bad. Something Eddie Murphy did called 1,000 Words in 2012. I don't know what the hell that is, but here's a high-profile one. 2018.
Would Leonard Part 6 be on that list? It should be. Right?
It should be. It probably is. I haven't gone down enough. That Gotti movie with John Travolta from 2018. That's on here.
Oh yeah. But then again, I would think that Battlefield Earth would be higher on the high expectations, low results.
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Oh, TRPW suggests Pink Flamingos. I'm not going to watch Divine eat dog shit. Thank you very much. You can recommend that movie all you want. I don't think I'm gonna. I think that's one movie that I just don't need to see. But I hear that
isn't that thing though considered cult classic-y, John Waters stuff? Like,
yeah,
it's his whole thing to offend.
It
right?
is his whole thing. I mean, yeah, it is. It is John Waters. It might be the highest non-mainstream crybaby movie that John Waters ever made.
Well, my pick.
Oh, Little Nicky is a good one too. Yeah,
it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
My pick is Staying Alive. That had a lot of goodwill going up to it.
Right.
Sylvester Stallone directed it. I mean, what a piece of shit that is.
Did we watch that for Film Sack? I want to pick something we haven't watched for Film Sack.
If we did, I blocked it out of my mind because I
here.
hate that movie so bad. Well, anyway, there you have it.
All right, good. Yeah, it has to be, by the way, when you make these recommendations, has to be something that we haven't watched for Film Sack and likely wouldn't watch for Film Sack. I don't want to take food out of our freezer if we've got something that'd be really good for the guys to watch. So.
Yeah. Battlefield Earth, I found it. 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow, 3%. But we did already watch Battlefield Earth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we already did.
Forrest Whitaker and John Travolta.
Hot piece of shit, that movie.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's got 3%.
I'm sure Hudson Hawk is somewhere on that list too, Scott. I know it is. I'm sure it is.
Let's see. Hudson. No, I don't think it is.
I'm going to guess. All right, then I'm going to guess 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is going to be my guess for Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. Let's find out. This is great.
Yeah.
31.
31. Yeah.
That's not bad. 56% audience. Not terrible.
No, that's not bad. Free Rangers asks, will Madam Web be on Film Sack at some point? And if I have my way, yes, it will. I feel like
hell yeah, it will.
That is kind of made for Film Sack.
Yeah, why don't we? Of course we would.
We 100% should.
Yeah, we've seen way worse stuff than that.
We have, and this has so many laughably bad moments that it's made for Film Sack.
Yeah,
might even be a really good. We don't do watch-alongs. It's been a while since we've done a watch-along, but
yeah, be a fun one though.
Be a fun one.
Okay, real quick, I have a call from Down Under to correct us on. We talked about my state bird being the California seagull.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, we've been calling it the wrong thing all the time. Here's what he says.
Yeah, g'day, Scott and Brian. They're not seagulls. They're gulls. They're actually land birds. I'm calling from Melbourne, of course.
That's the whole call. That's the entire call.
Oh, really? I thought it might have been Orlando. Okay, good. Hey.
So I guess they're just called gulls, but here we call them California. I think we call them California seagulls here, but I think they are California gulls. Oh, there's the Wikipedia
California
link.
gulls from Dr. Calhoun. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So we just been
and
saying
down
it wrong.
here in Australia, they'll kill you.
Yeah. Medium-sized
10
gull.
varieties that'll take a man's heart out.
It says smaller on average than the herring gull, but larger on average than the red-billed gull. I don't know what either of those are. It lives not just in California, but up and down the entire west coast of North America, and has breeding ground inland. The yellow bill has a black ring. Is that always true? Weird.
Huh.
So anyway, there you go.
The Pasadena sea chickens.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's the Utah state bird. It's the Pasadena sea chicken.
And it even says down here, contrary to its name, the California gull is the state bird of Utah. So we all say it wrong here. It's like the Ukraine instead of just Ukraine. That's what we do. We put we put extra shit in there. It doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. Nicely done. Let's now dive directly into the big pile known as the news. Oh, shit. I'm in the wrong place. The news! Thanks, Remo Williams. Hey, the news today is brought to you by who?
News, the adventure begins. Brought to you by Trivia for Brian. What's the space between windows called? I want to make the jokey answer wall, because between your windows there's a wall. Do you mean between panes?
Between panes of windows. So like if you
by
had...
the way,
bing.
Yeah, let me show you something, by the way. So if I type, you can't see this.
Yeah.
Except I typed, there we go. I typed a bad word. And then I go, I'm going to make the text white, or I'm going to make the text or the text gray, and then I'm going to make things white. No, I'm going to make this the same color. Something like that. Basically, I saw what you typed in there because when your cursor, when you're
when I highlight it,
when you highlight it, you can see I see it reverse. But I would not have gotten, what was it, infenestration, or what is it called?
It's called
interfenestration.
Interfenestration is the term. So I need to move that field. I didn't realize it highlighted for you when I highlighted it.
Yes, but now that I know that you put the answer there, I'm not going to look. I won't. But just don't highlight it. Just don't select it.
Yeah, I won't select it. Well, I did it.
I didn't know that interfenestration. Really?
Yeah, interfenestration. So if somebody says, "Hey, we need to paint between the windows." Where? Interfenestration.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That's between the windows, you say. Yeah. That all makes perfect sense.
Between the panes.
Yeah, between the panes. Also, because we don't have a show tomorrow, do you want to say anything about Coverville this week? Or do you want to save that for Thursday? Well, I guess we could do it Thursday.
Well, we can do it Thursday. I was debating on, because I'm not going to do a Coverville one of the next 2 weeks, and it's either going to be not Thursday or not next Thursday. I think next Thursday makes more sense because that'll be, I won't ride the day before the MS-150, but I will go on a 25-mile ride 2 days before the MS-150. So yes, Coverville this week, and I'll tell you right now, it's going to be the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, Purple Rain.
Sweet. Purple Rain, baby.
Covers of every song from that album. So Baby, I'm a Star, Let's Go Crazy, I Would Die for You. So good. Such a great album. Such a landmark, all killer, no filler album.
Yeah.
My favorite song on there, my favorite Prince song on there is, or my favorite Prince song is on there, and it's the beautiful one.
Well, let me tell you my favorite thing about Purple Rain, the movie.
Yeah.
Prince's character is called The Kid.
The Kid, yeah.
That's dumb. But also, Morris Day plays a character named Morris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
Your favorite thing about that movie isn't Prince talking with a puppet in the mirror?
Oh, that movie, I've forgotten so much about it. We need to watch it because what a weird thing it is. It's very weird. I think it's an amazing. The soundtrack is like all timer, right? But that movie's weird. Yeah. It's a weird movie, dude.
Yeah.
Let's get to it though.
Yeah, I guess there it is right there. It's like a weird little. I can tell it's got a little mustache on it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's looking good.
All
right, let's talk about the story here. A crocodile. You know, crocodiles are mostly Australian, but they're in other parts of the world too, I think.
Yeah.
Was terrorizing an Australian town, so residents decided to take matters in their own hands, and they cooked it and they ate it.
Fair enough.
Look,
I think, you know what?
Yeah.
Better, it was him or them, basically.
That's right. So they did it. 11.8 feet of it they ate.
Wow.
Remote Australian community, which is a lot of the communities on the Australian continent, has taken revenge on a massive saltwater crocodile by eating the 3.6-meter beast, blamed for devouring pets and chasing children. Well, it's better than the other way around.
For sure, yeah. Have you ever eaten gator? You probably have.
I have.
Oh, yeah. If Kim's from Mississippi, you probably have had lots of Cajun food when you go down there. If not,
thing is, I don't think I've ever eaten gator. Well, I had gator down there, but not with her.
Yeah. Okay.
And then since then, the only gator I've eaten was up here in that gator cheesecake at the Bayou Bar downtown, and it was very good. It's just got gator meat in it. It is surprisingly yummy. It is. If you're, vegans, turn away for a moment here, but
it's a slippery chicken meat is what it is.
It really is. It really is. But if you season that stuff up right, oh man, so good. So good. Yeah. Highly recommend gator meat. We used to have
a place here called Bayou Bob's, and I don't think they're around anymore, but they had really good Cajun food, and we'd always get gator bites or whatever they were called as an appetizer.
Would they like, what do you call it?
Deep fried.
Yeah,
nuggets.
fried.
Yeah.
Like little hush puppies, except they got meat in there.
They were in the shape of a bell, a boot, a bar, and a ball. What was it? No, bell, boot, ball, and...
Bell, boot, biv, devo.
Bell, boot, beats, bears, Battlestar Galactica.
Battle, yeah. Battle Cat. I don't know what they... But all I know is this. There's not enough Southern food places around. There needs to be more. I realize we live in the landlocked West. The seafood is going to be weird. I get it, but more of that, please. We can do
Whatever.
We can do crawdads up here, though. You can grow those like crazy.
Exactly, and you know, the freezing technology is getting to the point where you can get. Well, there's a place here in town called Water Grill in downtown Denver, and I will swear by their clams, their mussels, their oysters as being some of the freshest I've ever had, and I don't know how they can taste this good being in a landlocked state.
They ship them in daily or something like that.
They must. Yeah, little necks from
catch them in the morning, freeze them.
Yeah, some Prince Edward Island little necks. Oh my gosh, bring them on.
Not the raw ones, though. I can't do it. Not the oysters.
Steamed. Yeah, give me steamed. Well, oysters raw, but give me some steamed clams.
Give me cooked all of it. Can't do raw oysters, man. There's boogers on a half shell.
Oh, they're so good.
You put there. You know what? I did have them one time when we were horking them down in Mississippi on this really cool bar that was out in the middle of a pier in the Sound. There, it was awesome. And they put enough of this gooey red stuff on it that they were actually quite good. But I still felt like I was eating somebody's boogers.
Cocktail sauce, or is it something different?
It was something different. It wasn't just standard. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cajun maybe that's all it was just their version of that, but it was really good.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I can't do it. I just can't think about them. It's just blah, blah, blah. I can pop my eye with a needle. I can't eat them oysters.
Fair enough.
Right.
You know, that valid
Statement.
statement.
Let's see. They decided that
Crocodile, they ate it.
they decided it was a significant risk to the community. In this statement, the police said the predator had been stalking and lunging out of the water at children and adults, and had also reportedly taken multiple community dogs. In a waste-conscious move, the crocodiles prepared for a feast in the traditional manner, said police. But not before authorities took the opportunity to give local children an impromptu crocodile safety session, including an up-close look at the dangers within our waterways.
Oh,
it was a teachable moment.
Then kids go up and take a closer look at its teeth or something?
That's a good question. It was probably just them going, "Oh, all right, don't forget,
Get around.
keep your hands away from the mouth."
Croc meeting? Wait, nope, sorry, wrong island.
Croc meeting.
Croc eating?
That's good. Croc eating? Anyway, it was real good, I guess. Moving on to this story. Airlines, or American Airlines. I don't like that airline. I've never had a good flight.
Yeah,
American.
I'll do it if I'm going, I've had to do it going overseas, but typically I won't do it in domestic flights.
And I'm not saying there's any connection to 9/11, but the two airlines I have the worst time with are American and United. Those are the two I have the worst time with, and they were two that were involved in that.
I would say it has very little to do with the security that got those people on board.
No, nothing to do with that. But I wonder. Yes. I always wonder if it's possible that these guys just have some little, thing that just dogs them now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like being, what's it like? If your name was, you're not Ted Bundy, but your name is Ted Bundy.
Sure.
It's hard to shake that. It's just always back there. If your name is Adolf,
right.
You're always going to be haunted by Adolf.
Stigma. There we go. There we go. Stigma attached to it. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that I feel like maybe it's still there with American. I feel like United. I feel like Boeing is the company that has a stigma attached to it right now, where like you can even go on AirFinder and say, "Here's the flight I want to take. Give me the airline that's not using a Boeing jet right now."
Yeah. I just always think about it. Maybe it's because the United. So I was on a United flight from New Orleans to Denver, and then from Denver to home. And on the leg, or actually, he was there the whole time. He changed planes with us. The entire 2-leg flight, we had one of the flight attendant guys that was on one of the planes that hit the towers.
Oh, really?
And I had the hardest time getting that out of my head. So that's a me problem with United. Like I've assigned a dark thing to that because that guy actually came and gave me a Coke. You know what I mean? Like
weird, yeah.
And then
you remember him.
It was like a month later that this thing happened, and he was on that flight. It was awful.
Wow,
I hated that.
Oof.
That was my least.
Okay, yeah, that would be a sobering reality to have to experience. Okay.
Yeah. Very sober.
Fair enough.
I'm no longer a drunk. I got sober. All right, check this out. A passenger is sued by the FAA. So hold on. American Airlines passenger is sued, not them suing the FAA, but the FAA is suing this passenger after being duct taped to a seat. This didn't make sense right away, so I had to read into it.
Sure.
An American Airlines passenger was gagged and bound with duct tape in her seat after being accused of attempting to open the aircraft door mid-flight has been sued by the FAA for doing what she did. Heather Wells, age 34, was flying from Dallas to Charlotte, North Carolina on July 6, 2021, when she began causing a ruckus in the plane. Oh, I like a good ruckus.
Is that the official term? Were they causing a ruckus?
I like a ruckus. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Biting and spitting at staff and passengers and allegedly attempting to open the front cabin door. A viral video showed her duct taped to the seat in the aftermath of the incident. The FAA fined Wells a record number, $81,950 in civil penalties.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly. They say they were at the time they were battling a surge of wayward passengers disrupting flights. I remember that being a thing in 2021 or so, like half pandemic, half working our way out of it. Yes. Weirdos on planes. People got weird.
So many weirdos, and you hear the occasional one like Rip Jeans Lade talking about the lizard people and that sort of thing. A few months ago. But back then, like we get further and further away from the pandemic, we forget about banging pots and pans for the medical front line. We forget about, that kind of sense of camaraderie we kind of had with people a little bit for a short while there. Drinking bleach, putting light in, eating the light or something. And then we forget about the passengers who frequently had to be pinned or duct tape or whatever.
Yeah. I remember being happy I didn't have to fly during any of that time. Because I didn't have to see any of that.
Yeah, we flew a lot, and I never encountered anyone like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're only going to hear about the weirdos because that's what makes the news. But
yeah,
I
kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to see one happen, but
never did.
I feel like maybe we just need to, whatever the plane equivalent of airlocking somebody is. Maybe there's one bathroom that has a door that goes outside that's controlled by the flight staff, and you put them in that bathroom, and then you just go.
Yeah, just vent them. Yeah, give them a parachute and all that stuff. Have it automatically open. We don't want them to die.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Brian wants murder, but I want to see them. I want to see them land with their pants down in the field somewhere. That's what I want.
I watch the news, Scott, every day, and I feel like, God, maybe Thanos was right.
50%. The problem is what 50%, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
That's the problem. All right, then.
If you could control the 50%, it'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't think we have that option. I wish we did. Here's one of my favorite stories of the week. We'll end on this.
Okay.
There's a book about book bans. So a book that's about banning books has been banned by a Florida school board.
I love it. Oh my God, I love the headline. Book about book bans banned by the Florida school board.
That's right. A book about bans have been banned from Florida School District. Ban This Book is the name of the book. A children's book written by Alan Gratz, who, grats to him, I guess. Gratz to Gratz.
Yeah.
Will no longer be available in the Indian River County School District since the school board voted to remove the book last month. His book, which came out in 2017, follows fourth grader Amy Ann Ollinger as she tries to check out her favorite book. Ollinger is told by the library she cannot because it was banned after a classmate's parent thought it was inappropriate. She then creates a secret banned books library, entering into a, quote, unexpected battle over the book banning censorship and who has the right to decide what she and her fellow students can read, unquote, according to the book's description on his website. It's a peculiar case of life imitating art. Jennifer Pippin, a parent of the coastal community, challenged the book. The reason I like this story is because Florida, you're the worst.
You're the worst, Florida.
You really
Texas,
are the worst.
You're really giving them a run for their money, though. But Florida, yeah, you're.
You ban a book about book bannings.
Yeah, so I'm actually writing a book right now about them banning this book.
Yeah, let's just keep that. Let's keep the circle going. I want to see it never end. It's a snake eating itself in the truest form. But also, okay, if your book about banned books, what is the inappropriate part of it?
Right. Well, the fact I'm sure that they feel like whatever book that she wanted, the character in the book is something that contains something. Oh my God, the kids can't see a transgender character or a same-sex relationship or
Sure, but if that book, but even if they state in the children's book, and I don't know if they do, I haven't read it, but if they state the reasons, it's still not a book with the content they're banning. It's them.
Right. It's a book It's a book about a book with the content they're banning.
So if they're trying to sell me,
they just don't like the magnifying glass pointed back at themselves again. You know?
Well, I think that's exactly it. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you're trying to convince me that it's a good thing to ban other books due to their content, and then you ban a book without any of that content that just purely challenges the concept of banning, I no longer believe in your altruistic plan to ban, but like that you really have anyone's best interest at heart, or that you freaking F off, you dicks.
Exactly.
Big 70s bird right up your hole.
Right up and I'll even give you the wad, the wad bird.
Yeah, the 80s bird. Look at these.
Cluster, the 80s bird, yeah.
Yeah, take those too.
Do you have those little free libraries around your neighborhood? We
do. We got like a little, what do you call it? I guess that's basically what it is. Maybe there's a name for it, but yeah, we do have those, and I don't know what's in there. I never looked, but it seems active. People are always putting stuff in.
Yeah, people are always putting stuff in. There's like 3 on one of the bike trails that I go on, and I'm always happy when I see them full of books, and I always think, I need to bring some of my, I'm not going to bring the Adobe Photoshop 3.2 manual and shove it in there because I'm sure no one's going to need to borrow that one, but I think about some books that I could probably donate there. There was a news story recently about somebody who was going into those and taking all of the books, and then they'd go to Barnes and Noble or Border. I guess Border's in a random word, but they'd go to Barnes and Noble and try and sell them the books that came from Barnes and Noble and try and get money for them.
Right.
Not the worst thing you've ever heard.
It
just seems like.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, maybe not the worst thing, but it's horrible. It's a horrible thing.
It's a horrible thing. Like, stop. Yeah. Everybody stop it. Like, because here's my thing with when people do this. It will come back around to you eventually. You will eventually be on the other end of this stick.
Yes. So why somebody does something like this to you?
Yeah. Why are you doing this to yourself? Or whatever precedents you set, then they can fly right back in your face. And you think you've got... I hate it, dude. It makes me want to throw mud at people.
People are dicks.
Yep. Hate it. All right. There's that. Let's now take a break. When we come back from this break, Bobby will be here. Yeah, Bobby. Tuesday Science. That's right. We had to swap places with him and Travis yesterday. So today, he'll be here. We'll talk about some kind of cool science. That's coming right up after this break. Brian, let's play a song before we do.
Sure. This is a band called Coastal Club, and I'm thinking maybe we've played something by them before as well. They have a brand new EP that comes out tomorrow, comes out next month, July 19th, not June 19th. It's called All of the Things You Said. No, it's not Tattoo. It's not that weird Russian duo. This is Coastal Club, and it's All of the Things You Said. Comes out July 19th, brand new EP. Big thanks to Clarion Call Media for sending this one. Listen, if you're a fan of Young the Giant, Passion Pit, Vampire Weekend, and I am, you'll probably like this. Here's the brand new single from Coastal Club. It's called Lost My Head.
You will have no treaty, no vaccine, and no Lieutenant Yar.
This is a spicy Korean corn dog.
And we're back. Hey, Brian, who was that one more time?
Yeah, that's a band who looks like 3 mustache-wearing baristas from your local coffee shop. They're called Coastal Club. It's their brand new song, Lost My Head, from their EP, All of the Things You Said, which comes out July 19th.
And so much more.
Great.
Exactly.
Thanks.
I like that. That should be a new staple clip. I love that you're using it all over the place.
It's pretty good. It's your Federighi doing his Federighi things that he does.
Oh, it's that guy. Yeah, okay, before a little bit of parkour.
And so much more.
And so much more.
Oh, man.
Right.
I love him.
You can change the order of your apps on your home screen and so much more.
And I can't wait for Android users to tell us how they've had that for months.
Exactly.
All right, let's get Bobby in. Bobbert, we call him sometimes. His mom does. I don't know who does. Nobody does.
Oh, he says nobody does. Remember, he even said his mom doesn't even call him Robert.
Yeah. Why would she? It'd be weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's his intro right here.
Science!
Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good.
It sure does. And Bob is here, known as Bobby to us and to you and I. All the way from South Carolina to join us for a little science talk. Bobby, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Good. Look at you, all gussied up and ready to rule.
Got the lights turned off in the studio, in the Frankenberger studio today.
Or something. It's a little different than usual.
Little darker. Usually we can see the pictures and stuff behind you. You got a little.
Yeah, there's this weird art thing hanging from the lamp, so I think I turned it off for that.
Tell me what is the weird art thing? I'm interested now.
You can't really see it. I wonder if I can turn it. Here we go. See that?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's a twisty jellyfish is what it is.
Yeah,
is
so it's kind of like a chandelier. This is for audio only listeners. It's kind of like a chandelier that was made out of old bottles, like water bottles, and they were like spiral cut down the side so that they make almost like a fat slinky.
Oh, that's how I like.
Slinky is my wrestling finishing move, by the way.
I like that cut of French fries.
Yeah, that's a really good description. That's a really good description of it. Actually, they're cut like spiral French fries.
Yeah.
But
so do you have the
light
off
bottles
so that
were painted, and it was from my daughter's school. It's actually, she just graduated from 5th grade. She's leaving elementary school, and this through various, it's a long story, but through circumstance, this piece of art that she helped make when she was in kindergarten has followed her from classroom to classroom by accident. So it's been with her the whole time. And then the teacher, her 5th grade teacher, as she was leaving on the very last day of school, was also saying, "Hey, I'm doing something different with the classroom. I don't want this anymore. Do any of you guys want it?" And she said yes, and so we brought it home. So it's kind of like a cool artifact of her elementary school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
So are we off to middle school / junior high now, or what's next?
Yeah, she's going to be in 6th grade next year.
Oh, see, some kids
in August.
Some kids go where I grew up. Our school was 6th grade started it. Really? 6th grade went early into junior high, but I think most people wasn't until 7th.
For me, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th were in junior high, and we don't have.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's all 6th grade is always middle school around here, but I know some places, some districts in South Carolina that started in 5th grade. But
yeah.
So do you keep the light off to not attract Sia to that?
Right.
Right. You don't want her to.
You don't want her pulling it down by swinging on it.
Yeah.
You don't want her in there going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can't have it.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, hey Bobby, let's lay on thick the science. Let's get in the brain space.
Thick,
yeah, let's do it. What'd you bring?
Decadent Science. Yeah, I was reading through Science News and I saw something really interesting. We're going to talk about it. We're recording this week's episode tonight, and I'm going to talk about it on the show. Normally, I try to bring something different here than I do on the main show, just because there's a lot of overlap in our listeners. A lot of our listeners come from here, so just trying to give people different things. But this is a really cool thing that I wanted to tell people about because I think it's going to be hard to see. It's a celestial event. It's a star event, and it's only going to happen for a very short time, sometime in the next few months, and you need to be aware of it if you're going to want to see it. And that is the opportunity to, with the naked eye, see a stellar nova, which is an explosion on a star.
Not just a character in StarCraft. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. How come 2024 is such a visual astronomical year? We've seen all this stuff.
Isn't that amazing? We saw the aurora borealis like everywhere on Earth.
Yeah. Had an eclipse.
Yeah. A total eclipse.
Yeah.
It's been an embarrassment of riches from space this year.
Sure.
Yeah, at least for the U.S., right? Or at least for North America, because there's total solar eclipses happen all the time, but not over any particular area. So
same deal with this one. U.S. Good vantage point for this, or is this worldwide phenomena that we're all?
No, I think it might be. I think it might be hard to see in the southern hemisphere. I can't say that for sure. I'm really bad at stargazy type finding constellations and how that works. But I think north northern and southern hemisphere see different stars most of the time, or at least some different ones.
Sure.
So I don't know, but I know that the constellation where this nova will appear is in a constellation called the Corona Borealis, and Borealis refers to north. That's why you have the Aurora Borealis. It's the northern lights. So that makes me think that maybe it's easier to see in the northern hemisphere.
And will this is an event, a cosmic event that actually occurred tons of light years ago? And
yeah, 3,000 years ago is when what we're going to see actually occurred, because it's 3,000 light years away.
Okay,
right?
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this is an event that happens periodically, so it's a nova. So what a nova is, a supernova we've heard of before. That's when a very massive star gets late in its life.
Yeah.
Not just late in its life, at the end of its life, because it explodes. The whole thing explodes, and it's a very dramatic event because the whole star explodes. Now a nova is not that. A nova is different. It's where an explosion happens, but it's not the whole star exploding. It's usually some sort of collected layer of gas on the surface of an already dead star, like a white dwarf, and then it explodes. All the gas collects enough to cause a thermonuclear explosion all across the surface of the star.
Damn.
And so it creates a similarly bright event, but it can happen more than once. In fact, this one that we could see, we should be able to see sometime within the next few months, happens once about every 80 years. And so it is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime event, but it does happen periodically, and they've said it's been being observed at least for about 800 years.
Well, let me ask you this question. How do we know this, given that it hasn't reached us yet? How are we seeing it? How are we detecting it, I guess, before we see it?
The way we detect it is through X-ray. So we can see it. Well, so you're wondering, so you got to wonder, how have we been able to see it for 800 years?
Yeah.
And then how do we see it now, and how do we know more about it now? The way we see it now will be with like X-ray telescopes, because and with visible light. The nova itself is visible, but the way we know more about it and what type of star it is when it's not, able to be seen with the naked eye, is through X-ray telescopes. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with this star. So the star is a white dwarf star. It's in the Corona Borealis constellation. That's it's called the Northern Crown, I think. I did a lot of looking because I'd never heard of the Northern Crown.
Me either.
I think stargazing aficionados, people who like to do a lot of stargazing and know a lot about constellations, probably have heard of this one, because it's not.
It's a
uncommon.
B tier, maybe C tier constellation.
Yeah.
It ain't your Ursa Major. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's no Orion, that's for sure.
That's right, exactly.
But it's the Northern Crown. It's right next to Hercules, which is another. I'd say that's a B tier. Maybe
that's
Northern
a B
Crown
tier,
is C tier.
Yeah.
But if you look up online, you can easily look up Northern Crown and figure out how to find it. It's not hard to find. I was able to find it, but it's just not one that you normally look for. But it's out there. You look for it, and one of the stars. There's a star in that constellation that you normally can't see at all. The Northern Crown is usually pretty difficult to see if you live in a place with a lot of light pollution. It's not super bright, but this particular star that's in it, even if you live in a place where it's easy to see, the constellation is easy to see. This star you can't see because it's a white dwarf. It's called TCRB, or T Corona Borealis. What a white dwarf is it's a star that is basically a dead star. So a star, we know, what it does and how it powers itself is through nuclear fusion in its core, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes a star, bright, and you can see it, and that's what our sun is doing.
Would you like to know how my stupid brain works when you say white dwarf? This is what happens. When you say white dwarf,
Yeah.
I think Peter Dinklage. That's all I can think of. And I'm not kidding, by the way. Like when someone says white dwarf, I think of Peter Dinklage. It's just
And then when somebody says red dwarf, do you think of that scene in Elf when Peter Dinklage is really angry at Will Ferrell?
Climbing across the table. Oh man, that's such a great scene.
It's that
I always forget that.
right? You can't help but visualize these things.
I always forget
or
that.
Not aphantasia, the hyperphantasia.
I always forget that's Dinklage. Always. I don't know why. I just do. But anyway, no. So what but I guess my bigger question is, how do we know it's from 3000? Like, I guess this is maybe too big of a question about how we measure things now and stuff. Like, it's probably.
Well, that's just from a lot of careful measurements and what we know about how fast light travels and the red.
Kind of triangulate how far something is away by when the Earth is in its orbit, and say, okay, it's here when we view it from this part of our orbit, and then as we move to a different part around the sun, now we can see it from here, so that means it's this far away.
Sure, that would be one way you could measure how far away it is.
I mean, that's how I would do it.
That's one way a pleb would measure it.
A pleb, sure, with my rudimentary giant telescope and.
Well, the challenge with that is that you could measure the angle, like you said, but the challenge is that if it's 3,000 light years away, you could probably observe it over the course of several years, and it still will look to be in the same place in the sky because it's so far away.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Sure.
But so the way we measure those things is through measuring redshift of light. We know a lot about how light shifts and stretches out as it travels through space and time, and so we can measure the redshift of any particular star and compare it to other ones and all this kind of stuff, and that can tell us a lot about how far away it is.
Interesting.
And so the math behind that is very technical, and I don't understand most of it. So that's as much as I understand, is that they can tell how far away something is because it's very measurable and happens the same all the time. How much light shifts in the visible spectrum. Or even the not visible spectrum as it travels through space.
Man, the language of redshift. Listen to this. In physics, a redshift is an increase in the wavelength and corresponding decrease in the frequency and photon energy of electromagnetic radiation, such as light, the opposite of change. A decrease in wavelength and increase in frequency and energy is known as blue shift. Good Lord!
Yep.
Is there brown shift?
There is, let's see, is it in the scale? No, there's no brown in this shift.
No brown shift.
No, but we got some purple, we got some yellow, green. It's a spectrum. Like light itself is a bit of a spectrum, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a spectrum.
It's literally a spectrum,
not binary.
Not even a bit of one. Well, that's interesting. So so how do you recommend like watching this stuff? Like, can we?
So what you need to do is you need to find out where this constellation is, and you need to find it in the sky. That's the first step. And you can Google all this. You won't be able to see it right now unless it happens tonight. But NASA thinks that sometime between now and September is when you'll be able to see it. And it'll only last for a few days. In fact, NASA wants citizen science astronomy people to help them identify it as quickly as they can. You know, we could point a whole we don't have that many powerful telescopes, so I'm assuming they're not just going to point a telescope at that spot for the next 4 months. You know,
right?
Waiting for it to happen. So they're hoping people will help them identify, because they can study what's happening when it happens. Because the white dwarf, like I said, it's at the end of its life, right?
Mm-hmm.
A star like the size of our sun will eventually turn into a white dwarf. After it's spent all the fuel inside of the star and all the hydrogen has fused into helium, and then it turns into a red giant and it puffs out all of its outer atmosphere, and then there's no more fusion happening. What you have is a ton of helium and carbon and some other stuff, but a ton of heavier elements that have been fused together, and they're just as densely packed as they can possibly be. In fact, physics doesn't allow them to be packed any denser, but they're not massive enough to continue to fuse. So it's just this big block, this big sphere of densely packed material. It's very hot because it's been undergoing nuclear fusion for millions of years, hundreds of millions of years.
But the red dwarf, the state of the red dwarf is that just gravity holding what's left together? Like, that's all that is, right? Like, if we didn't have gravity, it would just poof.
Well, a red dwarf is still a star. It's just puffed out. It's actually interesting how that phase happens, because our sun will turn into a red dwarf Fusion. So gravity wants to pull all the material from a star together, right? And it would smash it all down into like a white dwarf right now if it could. But what's preventing that from happening is the energy of the fusion from inside. As the fusion reactions are happening inside the core, it's all that energy is pushing outward while the gravity is pulling inward, and it creates an equilibrium that makes the star the size that it is. But that's why a white dwarf becomes a white dwarf, is because once it runs out, no more of that outward fusion pressure is happening, so all of it gets collapsed in. But before that happens, the core will start to stop fusing, but there will be a shell of hydrogen around the helium core that is still fusing. And because that shell is technically, volume-wise, it's technically larger than the core was, because it's happening now on the outside of the core, it causes it causes more pressure, and it causes the star to puff up more.
Weird.
But eventually that doesn't happen. Now this star this white dwarf, which has passed all of these phases, is actually in a binary system with a red giant. I mean, that's why this periodic nova happens, is because this white dwarf, which is about the size of the Earth but has the mass of the sun, is pulling material from its neighboring red dwarf and sucking it onto the surface of the white dwarf. And then eventually it pulls in enough material, about every 80 years, it finally pulls in enough material onto the surface of it that it gets packed down and then causes a thermonuclear explosion, which causes it to be super bright for about a week.
Is there any chance that this white dwarf was previously a sun in a habitable system, like a life-bearing
I have no
system?
idea. Maybe.
I don't mean like humans, but like there may have
Probably
been plant
not.
life.
I think from what I understand, it's not likely that of a habitable planet. That's my favorite word, by the way, habitable.
Habitable. It's fun.
Habitable.
It's just fun to say.
Yeah.
But it's not likely that a habitable planet can live in a binary system. I think I've heard that before. I don't know if that's. I'd have to do research on that to know for sure. But I think I've heard that before because of the forces between the two stars.
Yeah.
Becomes a 3-body problem there.
Yeah, dude.
But I think all the planets that might have been in there get flung away or something like that because of the interacting forces and stuff like that.
Whenever they show two suns in a science fiction movie or something, that's an eye roll moment for me, because I just don't think you can. I think there's just too much at play there. You got these two gigantic energy sources in the same system. Mm-hmm. Like how do you have a planet full of people?
Just end up with a desert planet, basically, with some power evaporators or moisture evaporators.
Sure. I think we should evaporate some powder as well. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
If you spot this new star, what'll happen is it'll be a new star that appears in that constellation. That's how you'll know.
Yeah.
Like I said, you look up online, you'll be able to identify it, even if you're not watching it day after day and don't suddenly see, oh, there's a new star. That's how people 800 years ago realized something interesting was happening, by the way. They just saw a new star. And so that's why they're called nova. Nova means new. So anyway, if you see it and you can spot it, you can look at it with some binoculars, maybe with the naked eye, depending on the light level in your area. But if you can spot it, then you're looking at something it's a thermonuclear explosion that's happened 3,000 light years away.
Yeah, and for a little context, that was the beginning of the Bronze Age when this would have happened. So, it just gives you some perspective.
Yeah, about how long ago this actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, at least humans are around, so there's that. But.
Have there been any discoveries of binary stars that have satellites around them, like planets orbiting them, and do they, does the orbit then change to almost like I don't want to say figure 8, but kind of like an elongated ellipse around both stars?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think it would work that way, because binary star systems don't probably
They're not
form
usually
together.
even, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So one or both of the star systems or stars come close to each other and then start orbiting each other. And so that's why I think I've heard that if they do have planets with them, they don't last very long because what'll
crash
happen
right
is,
into
well, not even that, because there's a lot of space there. They might never crash into each other, but two star systems might have each their own planets, and then they come into close enough together to start orbiting each other, and all the forces involved in that probably just fling planets all over the place, and they probably just get shut out. In fact, I think that's where a lot of people, you've heard of rogue planets before.
Sure.
I think that's the thought about rogue planets, or that's one of the hypotheses anyways, that rogue planets are the result of star systems, or two star systems, or stars coming together where at least one of them has planets and they just get flung out of the system.
Right. Or it could even be, with a star that does go white dwarf, and a far enough planet, it loses some of that gravitational pull, and then that planet just kind of veers off into space.
Yeah. Bob, have you messed around with what's it called? I think it's called Universe Simulator 1 and 2. You play with those games at all? They're not really games.
I haven't. I think you've recommended it to me before, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But
you should give that a shot.
Super interesting.
Yeah, all the math in it, all the basis of it is set in like known physics, and so when you do things like, what if the moon was 25% larger? What would that do? Right. And then you can set the universe back into motion after you've made this change, and it's always wild what ends up happening. It's stuff you don't expect, like the moon didn't crash into the Earth, but it changed just enough to the Earth's own orbit that it ended up pulling away from the sun a little bit and got froze and killed almost everybody. Right. And if you're on the wrong side of the planet, you're all dead. Like stuff like that. It's really interesting. It just sounds like something you might enjoy fiddling with. So it's a trip.
I think I would. Or shooting like a grain of sand the speed of light at the Earth or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that stuff's cool. You can do all those things. Yeah, it's rad. You can also just introduce like a new planet. You're like, okay, well, between Saturn and freaking Pluto, we're just going to plop a thing out here, and we're going to call it Larry, and then we're just going to stick it out in the middle of nowhere and just see what it does.
Larry's out there.
Yeah, we just see what it does. We pick a point where we know it's not like it's frozen there. It's part of, it's in whatever orbit it would be in if you put it there, and then just chaos occurs. It's just like you forget what a delicate balance this all is, because if you introduce something weird like that, you would just the whole thing's effed. And we're done.
I did Google real fast just now if a binary star system could support planets and stuff like that. And apparently the thought is that yes, they can, and it's thought that it's possible that there's a percentage of binary star systems that are capable of supporting habitable planets. Now whether or not those actually exist is another thing, but
because you think of I think of Tatooine and the twin suns, and I always thought, all right, well, there's going to be a time in that orbit when those suns aren't sitting right next to each other, Luke. Like, how do you go between them? Do you go around both of them as a pair? Or because if one sun is orbiting the other sun, one of them typically larger than the other orbits around that, and then you've got a planet orbiting around those. Way older than the TV show, by the way. Like 1700s or something was the first talk about this.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I love this stuff.
It is. It's really fascinating stuff. Yeah.
So watch for it. Coming soon. You're going to have some visuals, everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure when it pops up in the news, I'll at least mention it again. But yeah, I thought people would be interested in seeing. I think it's really cool to. It might just look like a spot of light, but just knowing that that's this like periodic explosion from a white dwarf stealing stuff from its neighboring red dwarf is kind of neat, or a red giant is kind of neat to think about.
Right.
I didn't know, Dr. Calhoun put in here a link, but I didn't know that the Alpha Centauri system has 3 suns. And
I didn't know that either. That it's a triple star system.
Yeah, that's wild. I had no idea. And I've played Alpha Centauri, the video game. I don't remember it having
play. I played Alpha Centauri.
I don't remember the game having 3 suns, but maybe I just don't remember.
That's amazing, huh?
That's awesome. All right, everybody needs to go to allaroundscience.com or wherever you get your podcasts and find that show and listen to it, because Bobby and his co-host are amazing, and they tell you cool stuff. So go check it out. Bobby, anything else you want to mention?
No, I think we covered it all. Just check out the podcast. you got it for me. You
Well,
did it.
good.
Thank you.
And thank you for being flexible this week and being willing to come on today. That was really nice
no
of you.
problem.
Yeah.
I've been on Tuesdays in the past. That's when I used to be.
Yeah.
I've been on Thursdays. I've been on Mondays.
Yeah.
Still no Wednesday.
Well, I mean, you filled in for me on probably every day of the week.
And a
probably at some
Wednesday,
point.
yeah.
That's right. We've had. I mean, the couch here has a Bobby-shaped butt in it on Tuesdays, so you fit in just nice.
Yeah.
Bobby, have a fantastic week, and may all your
too.
stellar events be large. All right, bye. Well, there he goes. That's it for him. A quick note that today we have to make this mention. No show tomorrow. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. We're honoring the national holiday, federal holiday. Also, no DTNS either. I will not be on that because they are also not having shows tomorrow.
Look at that. Okay.
Yep. So will not be around for the show. But we'll be back Thursday. We got all kinds of stuff to bring you on Thursday. So don't you worry your little heads.
Yeah. Wendy will be here Thursday. She'll solve somebody's problem and
Yep.
and we'll be all fine and good with the world.
That's
and then
right.
I'll go to Vegas on Friday and create some of my own new problems.
Yep. All the new problems coming this weekend in Nevada. I'm excited for you because I don't know. It just sounds like a cool concert. And
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show, and you know, doing TMS Vegas, I have a great time seeing everybody, of course, and have a really good time out there. But I never feel like I've got free time to just do something I want to do while I'm out there, and so I'm gonna have a little bit of that. I'll actually have a little bit of solo time for part of that. So
little pool time, dude. Go around the
yes,
if they have
did
a
not
river.
get any of that before.
Yeah, we never get that stuff on Vegas TMS. So anyway, watch for that. Also, quick note: if anybody out there ordered the leftover swag stuff that I sent out, it's all been shipped, and all of you've gotten your tracking and everything. But if any of you, we had one person get the mug and they were missing the other stuff. We have no idea why. We think we just had one box where, for whatever reason, it didn't get thrown in there, and we thought we checked and it didn't happen. So we've only had this happen once. No big deal. We sent him out and make sure he's covered. But if any of you run into that, will you please let me know so we can fix you up ASAP? Because I'm pretty sure, I still think it was just the one dude. But if any of you have this problem, please let me know, and Kim and I will take care of it. All right, that's it. Frogpants.com/TMS for all your needs. That's going to do it. Brian, let's play some music on our way out.
Some music. Yeah, this is going out to our friend Amy. She says, "Hello, friends." She says just like that.
Yep.
It's your pal Red Fraggled requesting a song from my sweetie and person, Chuck, Amy's person. His birthday is June 18th. Happy birthday, Chuck. You should go out on a bike ride today.
Oh.
And I'd love it if you could play a cool cover of Holiday in Spain by Counting Crows. In lieu of that, any Counting Crows cover will do. Happy birthday, Chuck. You're my favorite. Thanks. Bye. You can almost hear her saying it, right?
That's weird how easy. Both of those things you say that she says.
Congratulations.
I don't know why that played, but that just absolutely sounded like her. That's weird.
Really did. So I don't know if Nanamatan is in the chat today, but happy birthday, Chuck, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. All right, Holiday in Spain, a great Counting Crows song, and believe it or not, I actually do have a cover of it. This comes from a 2004 tribute to the Counting Crows called "Dead and Dreaming." A bunch of different artists collaborated to record some songs for this one, and number one fan drew the straw that said "Holiday in Spain." It's close to the original, but they do change up some elements in there. They keep it a little bit more, instead of the build that you get with the Counting Crows version, number one fan kind of keeps it mellow throughout, stripped down throughout. Here is Holiday in Spain by number one fan.
Awesome. We'll be back Thursday with Wendy.
And so much more.
Come on back then, everybody. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
It's primogenital is what it is.
Oh, man. I can't wait to share